Hello. I thought I might make a quick little update on just some of what's going on around here with the knives and blade projects. So here we've got my RMJ Tactical Wyvern with the shit tang, and here we've got the Buck Compadre Fro knife with the semi shit tang. And so I have a plan. You can see I've masked these off on the back with some blue tape. I have also scratched up. Well, first of all, I removed the finish with some 120 grit, and then I gave it a good old scratch with a diamond file on that. On this one, according to my research, epoxy will adhere to Cerakote, and I'm sure that the Cerakote is very well adhered to the semi-shit tang. So all I did was just touch it with the diamond file, scratch it up a little in there, so that we get a good mechanical adhesion of a product which is wrapped up in 2 layers of plastic bag there with the gloves I'm going to use, and I'm not going to even touch it because my hands will get filthy if I go inside the second bag and actually show you what's in there. But it is a West Systems product, which is a black epoxy. I just bought it to try it. I thought black epoxy could have all kinds of uses in the knife making sphere, and indeed does. But I think that this is something that was actually made for doing restoring floors, gaps in floorboards or something, because it's rubberized. It's actually a rubberized epoxy. I made one experiment with it. It went horribly. Well, it wasn't really an experiment. See, I was trying to build a knife, and it just cured way too quickly, and it absolutely stank like... if you're in a tire shop or in the area of Walmart where they sell all the Chinese goods that have that rubber smell, that kind of smell, really noxious, nasty, messy stuff. But black is the ace of spades, and obviously rubberized, because in my last video rumination, I said that I was going to make some pieces of rock maple to go into these holes, and then epoxy them in, and that would be a shock absorber and what have you. Various people suggested rubber, and Connor Chops was the first one, and then I think someone else also suggested cut out some chunks of rubber or something like that. Or Connor suggested using rubber around the wood. And then the Knife Nut in Wales suggested just cutting some truck tire rubber into shape. But this rubberized epoxy to me seems like absolutely the treat. Now, I was thinking I have some dog hair here that I harvested, and you could chop that up and put that in there for tensile strength. But I don't think we're really going to desperately need the supplement to the tensile strength. It's more what we need is the shock absorption and the muting effect. So yeah, that should be good. Right. So yeah, I've just got to kind of mix the epoxy up by eye and put it in there, try and get it nice and level. Probably going to get messy. I've put these down on this cutting board. This one lays fairly flat. This one didn't really. And I have this little booklet of these things that I roll up to put in the end of my smoke. This one isn't done, actually. Should have a zigzag in the middle as well. Call that the Rux capacitor. A zigzag with a spiral around it. Anyway, they're really handy, right? Because they are fairly precise thickness. And so, I just measured out the number that I needed, stuck them under there, and now this sits flat. I heated the tangs up when I put the tape on, and then it's kind of like putting a bed sheet on the bed. You can stretch it really tight, so it's pretty nice and flat in there. Okay, I've gone on long enough about that. That's coming up. Now another thing is that last week I spoke with a fella at a lab in a neighboring state, metallurgical lab, because I have this Bark River Forest Scandi in Magna-Cut, and I'd like to know precisely what the formula is of Magna-Cut and whether it in any way, shape, or form resembles that of Magna Cut. The knife has performed really well. I actually really like the knife. I mean, the way it feels, the way it handles, the way it looks. It's a really good poco, style knife. The pin's proud. That could be helpful at this point. And the blade alignment's off and everything wacky, but I think it's a cool knife, and I'd actually like to keep the knife and just have it and use it. So I don't really want to destroy it. So my idea is to remove this pin here and see whether I can, take the handle off. And I understand that there is a temperature which is beneath the temperature at which one would begin to anneal the steel, at which epoxy will degrade. So I figure if I can drill and tap this pin out, and if I can't just tap the blade straight out, then I'll put it in the oven, figure out the temperature, put it in the oven or something, and see whether I can bake it out. Because ideally, I'd like to get this tested on the tang. So I need destructive stuff, because this is proper testing. I mean, I say proper. There are various proper ways to test, right? But this will be a full spectroscopic analysis, including carbon levels and everything, potentially, if I want, right? It's a little expensive. And also, obviously, for the HRC test, they'll be putting a ding in it. So I wouldn't really mind having an HRC test ding here, but if they have to scorch it with a laser or something, that'd be ugly, So, yeah, if I can get that, otherwise maybe I'll just have to smash it out and, cut my losses on the handle. I like putting handles on things. So I got this thing at the hardware store that I'm gonna maybe try and use it for center punching. So instead of sticking your center punch where you want it and then whacking the other end with a hammer, which is a pretty difficult way to get on such a small pin, to get a really precise center mark. What I think I'd also maybe do is use a carbide knife to scribe an X, make an X, and then I can put but this is like a spring-loaded one, so you just put it on the spot, and then it's like a bow. You draw it and bank, right? Pull, release. So yeah, I might experiment with that. And I got this knife in the mail today, which I also wanted to show. Subsequent to my recent purchase of a Real Steel G-Drop in Nitro X7 steel, a knife which I find very pleasing, but there are a couple of issues. It is kind of utilitarian, as Jimbus Maximus pointed out, the handle, and it's just not really very imaginative. Also, the handle is very diminutive. The blade is not small, but the blade, the handle is matched to the blade size-wise, as in this instance. But it's such a good blade on that one, really. It longs for a bigger handle, in my opinion. But anyway, I was very pleased with the knife overall. And I found my way back to looking at Real Steel and some of the other stuff they did. They do a nice bushcraft knife, fixed blade. But I saw this one, which is called the Destra. And this is in Nitro V. And I really like Nitro V, AEBL, all that stuff. I think it's great, if the heat treatment's right. It's got a thumb stud. I'm not used to thumb studs, and I don't find the thumb stud is such a satisfactory deployment on this one as the reverse flick. The reverse flick is really good on that. Bang! And not only that, this actually has a flipper. This little thing here. How cool is that? For me, that's really cool, because I don't like having a flipper tab sticking out here. So I think that's great. Really good. Ergos, it's still a very slim handle, and that's a disadvantage in the hand, but I love the way they did this kind of clamshell construction here with the single spacer. And yeah, it just works really smoothly. And this blade, I just think that is an enchanting blade and very well matched to the handle. Yeah, sweet. I like a low point, kind of between the reverse Tanto and the modified Wharncliffe and all that stuff. I like all that stuff. There is a design called the Stiff Horn, Bob Loveless design, which I've become quite keen on. But yeah, this is a little more robust than the Stiff Horn profile. And yeah, all kinds of serviceable. Did have a bit of a kind of a, probably still does have a little bit of a warp on the blade there. You can see. It's very minimal compared to what's out there, I would say. And I started sharpening it all out, so did a little bit of cutting. Good performer. And I like this thumb stud concept in that you can remove this when you want to sharpen or regrind, polish those bevels or whatever. Yeah, I'm impressed by this Real Steel. There's so much good stuff coming out of China. But I think these knives are original and they're good quality. They're fairly inexpensive for what they are. And it's not easy to find a knife in Nitro X7 steel. So this is just Nitro V, but if they've done a good heat treatment on it, which I'm imagining, I think I seem to recall having heard a lot of good things about Real Steel for a while before getting around to trying something. And that was why, because I wanted the Nitro X7. Then I was impressed, and I said, okay, well, let me try this one in Nitro V. I only just got it, but it felt great on the diamond plate. And I did a little bit of cutting, and that felt good. And yeah, I think at this point, I would say can recommend. Great action, zero play, nice, really thin, slicey grind. So they left it a little thick behind the edge there, but I think it was sub 20 thousandths. Anything else fun I could show you? Show you the belt knife I'm wearing today. Oh man, I'm sorry about the lighting. It is an Ota. From Japan. It's an interesting enclosed tang design on this one. So you got your two scales, but instead of being a full tang all the way around, it is a full tang, but it's just hidden. Like so. Very tasteful. To start out, I thought I was sort of disapproving of this here because I generally like that to be flush, but this is very comfortable, actually. Some of the old pocket knives as well, they have that, and it gives you a nice little place to sit your thumb, if it's well done. It's a nice, big, chunky handle on this thing. Haven't used it much, really. It's just been kind of a treasure that I bought because I saw it and I loved it and had it kicking around. Decided I would sport it today. Maybe I'll actually go cut something with it in a minute. Oh yeah, well I tried it on some of these poles. See I've been splitting. I'm going to start making my gate hurdles again. So yeah, this is some oak that I cut the other day with the fro, and I got another pole out there to start finishing. And this is my double bitter, which is a pretty cool thing. I'm one-handed, so I can't get it all the way out right now. From Sweden. Yeah, I decided I ought to go for the double bitter lifestyle. You know, it's a major compromise not having that pole on the back, and you know, it's kind of a little more dangerous in some ways. But you know, it's two axes in one. All right, thanks for watching.